Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Dungeon Meshi episode 22 reactions. So the previous episode, a few things happened. Number one, we met the elves. Gabru and Shuro went and talked to the elves, and they didn't really mention anything about Laios, but they did mention about the Chimera. And one of the elves were like, I ain't buying any of your, like I feel like you're hiding something. Come with us, we'll do an investigation. And they took them with them. That was the thing with them. Then Laios's group, Laios finally talked to the ghost that has been following him, and the ghost took them to like a weird place where a lot of like things are happening. First of all, the whole place is like under like some kind of a spell which makes the monsters more tame, which also is affecting Izutsuni as well. And not only that, we get to see the people there. They have all been under the spell of the lunatic magician, and the Delga's grandson, he said something about a prophecy, and in the prophecy a person with a winged sword is supposed to come and liberate them from the whole thing, and that person will become the king. And which obviously everyone's like, what the hell? Laios can become the king, but so yeah. And obviously Laios is in a dilemma because of the whole, a lot of people has talked to him about this like thing and told him what he's supposed to do, what will he do. He has to make a decision if a situation like that comes. That orc talked to him about this, a lot of other stuff. And Laios is in a dilemma, because obviously he also knows that he's not really fit enough to be a king, like, to understand other people. He cannot really do that. He's just interested in monsters. So I feel like he's like deliberating between, like, that, like that. And anyways, so that's what's going on over there. So let's see what happens today in this episode number 22. Let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here, syncing to whichever is a preference, and let's get started. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Hmm. Mm. Something's some smell. Is it sleeping on top of a chilchak? Yeah, like a cat. Oh, pancakes. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Breakfast prepared by Senshi. All right. He's still sleeping. Uh. Hmm. But the vibe and the texture as well. Sometimes the texture is. Yeah. Uh, True. Yeah, there you go. Like I said, texture. uh, mm. Still. Hmm. Okay. I see. So that's how he became a okay. Hmm. Yeah, I was thinking like it's because of his grandfather, how great grandfather, sorry, how he died and oh. Hmm. Oh my God. Oh, okay. The eight of the winged lion. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Nice. More ingredients for the monsters that will cook in the future. Ah. Oh, oh, okay, right. Yeah, makes sense. Damn. Well, I like to think so. They're like, oh no, wait, he's already here. Uh, okay. Resolve. Okay. Well, right. I see. I feel like Ilsun's going to snap out now. Yep, she snapped out. So she had no idea what was going. Oh no, she had an idea. Oh boy. What? Okay. Ah. Well, he's a dwarf. That's why, I guess. Hmm. Okay. Oh no. What? Really? Maybe. Maybe it was Griffon. Yeah, I was gonna say. What? Why? Yeah. Why? Why is Senshi? Why is Senshi sweating? We have a cat with us, bruh. He doesn't like griffins. Yeah, that looks poisonous. No, those are poisonous. Those are purple. Yeah. Oh, she can hear something. Something's coming. Oh my god! Yeah, it is a griffin. Oh lord. Well, there you go. That's not falling. Damn. That angle. Why did that? Yeah! Makes sense. Lias is going to act like this. Oh god, she's pissed. Damn. So she has some bad experiences with Griffin or something? Oh no! Oh no, this is bad. Yeah. Oh god. Oh no! Oh no. This ain't good. Hey, yo, we cannot run that far. It's how we need to find its nest now. No. Even if he was so he has trauma. Hmm. Any type of search magic or something do you have? Like okay. This is like black magic again? This is black magic, isn't it? Dominate and control. Okay. I see. Yeah. Oh. Right. Right. So literal summoning. Okay. Hmm. Oh. Okay. There wasn't. Right. Vegetables. Will that work? Yeah. Okay. Oh God. Laios is okay. Calm down. I guess. What? Well, he's an. We don't really know much about him though. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. What? Over 10 years. Yeah. Oh. Wait. Oh. That's interesting. Huh. Oh yeah, the last one. Okay. Right. Maybe he was in the dungeon. I was gonna say from the beginning. But how does that even work? Huh. Oh, here we go. Like, I'm not liars, but I'm also curious what monster she's gonna make. Well, like a chicken or something, maybe? I don't know. It's a small one, definitely. Oh, the suspense. Whoa, what? Oh, it is a chicken, I guess. Or chicks. Bro, Lance is like, what is this? Oh no, mana depletion? Oh no, that's why, I see. Okay, I see, that makes sense. Hmm. But how can you walk? We have to, yeah. And her eyes are closed. Hmm. The fact that her eyes are closed is also making it more scary. Yeah. Uh, yeah, like that. Oh, is that it? Okay. Oh, there he is. Oh my god. Oh my god. No, I. Fly. Yeah, I doubt that'll work. Her face. She's making the same face. Oh no! Right. Uh, there were two more chicks, didn't. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Um. Oh, like a. Like a. Okay. Hmm. Like a. He's like making a dragon, kind of. Nice. Yeah, it is like a dragon. Okay. Well, exactly. Nice. Yeah, the griffin is here. Move. Yes. Okay. Oh! And the last one is left. Oh my god. Yeah. He's making like figurines. Okay, that is insane. I doubt it can do that, but you know. Wow. Huh. Okay. Oh, what did she make? Yeah. What is that? Uh, right. How can that save Senshi? I don't understand. Oh, okay. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, so that's how she plans on. Okay. No. Run, fly. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Oh, yeah, nice. We got one of the wings. Okay, here we go. Ooh. Oh, we got it. So, tonight's dinner? I knew it. Okay. Oh, the thing. Hmm. Oh no. Oh my. Hey yo. Okay. Yeah, like, the whole thing with the griffin. Yeah. Wow. Damn. Sky, fish, and chips. Right. Yeah, literally. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Mm, yeah. Mm. Yeah, the reintroduction. Mm. About a decade I've been doing. Okay. What? Really? Wait, what? I guess that makes sense. He's like 40 or something. Yeah. I think he did right. He probably lived here from the very beginning. Uganda, essentially. Ah, my running crew. The jackpot. Okay. Oh, that helmet. He wears it now. Oh, so they came across this place. Wow. So they found the dungeon even before it was discovered. Like, and then I'm guessing he somehow got stuck in it. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense why he said that I've been here for 10 years, while the dungeon was discovered for 6 years. And my guess would be either or not either, but I'm pretty sure all the other dwarfs that he had with him probably died somehow, and he was the only one who was left there. And so that would mean they found the dungeon 4 years before the dungeon was actually found. I think they said like 6 years the dungeon has been found, and since she said he has been there for 10 years, so that means 4 years before it was officially found, the Senshi and his like friends, they found the dungeon and somehow got stuck in it, and Senshi is the only one who survived in the dungeon. So he literally has been living there for 10 years, like in the dungeon. I see. Maybe something like that. Let's wait. I think the next episode he'll explain it to us. Right. Hmm. Hmm. And I guess that would make also the fact that he's afraid of griffins. uh, It probably would answer that question. And maybe he and his friends had an encounter with griffin, and that traumatized him or something. That's it. All right. So that was today's episode. So today's episode, we get to know more about Senshi and like the whole situation. Senshi almost gets um, taken by a griffin, and yeah, we have to save him. We save him, and after that, Senshi has decided to talk about his story now. You know. But yeah, that was today's episode. And okay, so a few things I need to talk about here. First and foremost, the magician, lunatic magician, he was, I think, Yad, he said that he was like a jester or something. He was taken in as a jester. Where is that part? Yeah, my great grandfather originally welcomed him into the castle as a jester. So, since his great grandfather brought him in, that would mean his grandfather and he were like of the similar age at that time. Not necessarily, I guess. He's an elf. He might have been even older than that. But at the same time, like like they grew up as brothers, as they say. And then like his grandfather, that is Delgal, he told like him, Thistle, I think that's his name, to study magic, encouraged him to study magic. And here we can see like Yard says that Thistle's thirst for power consumed him and drove him towards madness. Now this is the part where I'm thinking about, maybe, like up until now I've always thought the reason why the magician is a lunatic magician is probably because of his like like Delgal's grandfather's death, and seeing that he and all, not only that but all the other people like dying, like he probably started like going, like it started affecting him, and he wasn't able to recover from that pain and sadness. So that probably drove him into doing something like this, like the immortality magic or something, and putting this on everyone, including Delgal, because I'm sure he didn't want Delgal to die just like others died as well. Something like that. And not only Delgal, all the other people as well. I thought that was the reason why he studied maybe like these black magic and tried to do something like this, and he succeeded, and that's what like pushed him towards madness. That's what I thought. But here, Yad says his thirst for power consumed him. So I'm not really sure, like if that holds true. Like I'm not like I still think that like Thistle, probably because of the loss of his loved ones, that drove him towards this. So this line is interesting because I didn't expect him to say something like Thistle's thirst for power and drove him towards madness. And after that, Yad says that ultimately he cast a spell of immortality over him. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, why would someone thirst for their own power? Why would they cast immortality spell over the kingdom? Makes no sense. If it was thirst for power, then wouldn't he like learn some kind of a destruction magic or something like that? Why cast a spell of immortality? That's why I'm saying, like, maybe not maybe, but I'm pretty sure it's because of seeing how a lot of people are dying in front of him. And obviously he's an elf, he's going to continue outliving all of them. He he went crazy and he decided to search more on black magic, and finally figured out the spell of immortality, put it over everyone, including Delgal, because he didn't want them to die just like them. And that probably pushed him more and more towards the brink of madness. And while I'm talking about this, it also is very interesting that I'm realizing now that Marcel is also in a very similar situation. I remember Marcel also saying that, when we got to know her story, that like, she started, like, learning, trying to learn more about magic, and started dabbling with black magic because she wants to get an answer for this, like, like people dying, and like that whole thing. She wants to do something about it, or something like that, I think she said. If you remember, in her backstory, we know that her father was probably like a normal human or something, or like some other race, not a long lived race, unlike her mother. And when her father and her bird died, she, like, she started, like, she went on. So this is situation, and the exact situation how he why he started, maybe, like, learning spell of immortality, that and Marcel's situation are kind of similar. So it makes me think, like, if this continues forward, Marcel might also reach, like become someone like Thistle in the future, if this continues, if she continues on this path, you know like, yeah, like, there's a potential for that. I don't know, it's just like all speculations. Like, I'm just assuming the fact that he, like, Thistle did all of this for, to continue make the other people live forward, live on, even after that death, the curse of immortality that he put on everyone. If that's not the case, if he did it for something else, then my theory is completely wrong. But if that's why he did it, then yeah, that would make his and Marcel's situation very similar. Like, not very similar, but exactly similar, because Marcel is also in the same boat. You know. Okay, yeah. Also, we get to know that this place is under constant surveillance of Thistle. So, all that stuff. Right. Okay, so yeah, that was the interesting part of the first section, where we get to know more about Thistle and all that. And then the next part that I want to talk about is Senshi and his, like, trauma for griffins, and then realizing that he, we don't really know much about him, and, that kind of thing. So the whole like, section of, like, Marcel bringing, like, summoning, like, a monster, creating a monster, that was very interesting, because obviously she said, now, are those, I don't think so, those are not, probably not black magic, are they? At the beginning I was thinking, like, oh, maybe this is also something like black magic, because, it's like a, like, you're, like, creating life or something, like, or altering life. Wouldn't that fall in the same category? That's why I was thinking, maybe not. She doesn't really mention anything about it after that, so maybe that wasn't black magic. I'm not really sure, but because I guess, like, a normal summoning spells, like, normal magicians can also do that, can't they? But Marcel's, the way Marcel did it, or maybe that's how it goes here, so I'm not 100% sure. It's probably is not. It's probably normal magic. I think so, because if it was black magic, Marcel definitely would have mentioned it, or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, like, she makes the familiar, three of them, and little by little, they, like, through trial and error, they were able to make the perfect one to save Senshi, and then they cook and eat it, obviously. Right. um and then, yeah, like, we ask Senshi about the whole situation, and Senshi talks about it. So here's the thing, the thing about Senshi. So the important parts here are that, like, as Chilchak said, it's a bit weird, because when he answered that how long he has been here, he said, like, he has been here for 10 years. But as Chilchak says, the dungeon has been open for, like, like, has been discovered for 6 years. So how does that make sense? Obviously everyone was like, that means, like, maybe he was already here from the beginning, like, and but how would that make sense then? Like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, how can he be already here and stuff like that? So later on, when Senshi talks about it, it's pretty clear what happened, as we got to see, like, Senshi talks about his family and friends, and how they were, they're, like, trying to find relics and stuff, and that's when they came across this place, this golden place. and they end the episode over there. But I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious from here onwards what happened, you know. So my guess is, and here's another thing. You can see like there's a person behind Senshi, one of the dwarves, who had like his hand on Senshi's shoulder. He was wearing Senshi's the helmet that Senshi's wearing now. The fact that Senshi's wearing that probably indicates that he and the others died. So this is my guess, and it's a pretty easy one to make. I'm assuming that they found a dungeon, you know, 10 years ago when the dungeon wasn't discovered. And the reason why it wasn't discovered was probably because they got trapped in there. They weren't able to come out and tell others. So they found the dungeon, they got trapped in it, and somehow, like, I don't know, like maybe like the path back blocked out or something, and they had to survive here. And I'm guessing they probably came across a griffin in like an encounter. Maybe it was a griffin who killed all of the others, and he, like, Senshi was the only survivor, and that's also why Senshi wears that helmet, which was with that guy, and he has such a PTSD about griffins. That would make sense. And he has been stuck there for 4 years before the dungeon got discovered. So at the end of like the fourth year, the dungeon got discovered, and from that point onwards, like, it has been 6 years. So 10 years he has been here. And I'm guessing even after the dungeon was discovered, he probably didn't feel the need to go outside because he has been surviving here for 4 years, and I'm guessing he got accustomed to this place. So he kept staying in the dungeon, like probably occasionally going out here and there. And this is what happened, I'm assuming. But this is Dungeon Meshi. I have made multiple theories like this before in other episodes as well. None of the time it has actually hit. Because every single time I think about how the story is going to go, and it surprises me the next episode with some weird twist. And I'm like, what the hell? So maybe it's going to be something like that here again. So let's wait and see. Anyways, but yeah, and that's how this episode ended. So yeah, let's see. Let's see how this goes. And we're almost coming to the end. Like 2 more episodes after this. Damn. Oh boy, I want this show to continue. I hope it continues. I'm sure it will. Right. Okay, so yeah, and that was today's episode. Now let me talk about this episode scene by scene. In the very first scene, we get to see Laios waking up with a good smell. He's like, what's going on? Goes out to see Senshi's cooking them breakfast. And obviously, what was his name? Yard, yeah. Yard cannot taste food. And, like Marcel and everyone is like, oh, this is so good, this and that. So Yard is just staring at them thinking like, I wonder how it tastes, because obviously he cannot feel things. Now here's an interesting thing that Senshi says. Senshi's like, oh, just eat it, and he's like, I cannot feel anything, taste anything. He's like, oh no, still eat it. And he eats it, and he's like, it's like warm and hot, and Senshi says that, like, taking the texture, taste is more like a muscle. The more you hone it, the more it works, and the more you leave it alone, the more it'll deteriorate. That kind of thing. So I am guessing it's probably because they have been alive for so long, and they don't need to eat. They probably stopped eating, and it probably messed with their taste and everything, all the senses, and that's why they cannot taste food nowadays. It's probably something like that. Because here's the thing, like let's be honest, like, if you, like, for the daily food intake that you take, like the normal food, I'm not talking about the good food that you eat for its taste. I'm talking about like daily, like sustaining yourself, that food. If you had the opportunity to skip out on that, and your body will stay the same, there's will be no nutrition deficiency or stuff like that, I'm sure you'll do that. Like I'm saying, I'm making like I'm saying it, that I'm not talking about like the good food that you eat for the taste. Yeah, obviously that you eat for the taste and all that, but the normal food that you eat every day, that you're just bored of, like like every single day the same food, that kind of thing, that you need to sustain yourself, like the good food that you're not eating it for the taste. If you have an opportunity to skip out on that and your body will still stay the same, I'm sure a lot of people will take it. So I think that's probably what happened. Like they started living for maybe, like, when they got the immortality spell, They were like, at the beginning they probably were like acting like normal people, like eating food and stuff, and then like 100 years pass, maybe 200 years pass, and they were like, yeah, maybe I can skip today, it won't affect me, let's skip food today. And they started doing this more and more and more, little by little, the taste completely deteriorating, and they lost all taste. And then after that, even after they eat, it doesn't work to them, and they're like, what the hell. But they still keep eating and like farming to keep their sanity, intact, but they don't do it that much. That is probably why their senses got dulled or something. Because like, it's like, we have to realize it's an immortality spell that they were casted. Like, why would they lose their taste? So it's probably the fact that they probably stopped eating. That is why they lost their taste, I'm guessing. And Senshi's comment here kind of indicates that as well, as he says, like, the more you eat, the more it'll keep your, like, it's like a muscle, that kind of thing. Right. Either way, Yard like eats it, and Yard is like, oh, like, like, seeing you guys is reminding me of my, like, grandfather. And then he starts talking about his parents, his grandfather and parents, and he starts talking about Thistle. So he says, like, here's where he says, like, his great grandfather brought Thistle in as a gesture, and he and his grandfather, they both grew up together. And like, and his grandfather is the one who told Thistle to take up magic. And like, and then as he says, our realm was once abandoned with relics from dwarves and elves, likely including items of black magic. Thistle's thirst for power consumed him and drove him towards madness. Now this line, like I said, like, Yard says thirst for power, but I'm pretty sure it isn't really as simple as thirst as power. What I think is that the fact that he's an elf and he's going to continue to outlive everyone, like, the death of his great grandfather, Yard's great grandfather, the person who brought him into the family, his death probably affected him extremely. And that is why, after it affected him, he probably started thinking, like, this is the same thing is going to happen to Delgal as well. Like, what can I do to prevent that? And that's why he started, like, like, trying to find more about resurrection and stuff, and started consumed and like, got consumed in the dark magic, and something like that happened. And then he cast immortality spell over everyone so that doesn't repeat, and it, like, drove him towards madness. That's what I think, at least. But like, yeah, he says, like, thirst for power here. I don't know why. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's at least how I envision this. Either way, I think we need more information to properly understand what type of person Thistle is. We barely have much information about him, and I'm sure we'll get to know that little by little. Either way, Lias is like, where can I meet him? And Yard is like, what the hell? Like, meet him? You want to talk to him? And he's like, no, like, don't do that. Having conversation with him is impossible. It was a struggle just to let my grandfather slip away unnoticed. Some were even put to death of suspicion of aiding him. Yeah. Simply meeting the... Wait, he says, like, a lot were put to death. What? On suspicion thing. Didn't he already cast the immortality spell on them? How can he put them to death? Oh, I guess that makes sense. Like, putting to death and, like, making them into spirits. I guess, yeah, like, they're, like, stuck as spirits. The body is gone, but they're latched into it, like the spirits that are roaming around. I guess that's a very bad punishment. Yeah, like, you lose your body, that kind of thing. Okay, and he says that just simply meeting the magician is easy enough. And we see, like, a dragon, like, not one dragon, but a lot of dragons, like, roaming around. The magician's eyes are sensing something is amiss in the village, and as he says, he's going to come very soon. As we see in the ending scene, he does come immediately as Lias and his groups goes out. Okay, so Yard then says, like, maybe you should go talk to or seek the aid of the winged lion imprisoned in the depths of the dungeon. Maybe that can help you out. Either way, they're like, all right, so they give him, like, raw materials, like food and stuff, like vegetables, and they're like, goodbye. And he's like, our carriers will take you out. And they're like, what carriers? Like, oh, the ones who brought you in here. So basically the ghosts. Right. So they go off into the like dungeon back again, and I love how everyone's like, "Are we sure these are the guys that will save us?" And the other's like, "Yeah, I hope so. Like that's what the prophecy said." So, but yeah. Oh, and then immediately Thistle comes in, and he's like, "Oh, who were you talking to just now?" And that's where abruptly that scene ended. And then we come to the next part of this episode where we are in this place, and this dungeon, and the compass isn't working, and Senshi is like sitting down, and gotten like mana sickness, like the teleportation sickness he got. Izusumi snapped out of the whole thing, and she's like, "Wait, what's happening?" And then she remembered everything that happened. Okay, so I'm guessing it's more of like like she was in like a weird type of like trance back then over there, and like she remembers everything, but she doesn't remember doing that, like that kind of thing. So she's like, what the hell did I do up until now? And she remembers everything very clearly, and she's like, oh no. Right. Anyways, so yeah, after that, since she's like saw like those symbols, and he's like, oh, like those symbols, like can you please draw them, Chilchuk? And Chilchuk is like, wait, you can read this? And and essentially kind of hints that he knows what's going on and he has a good idea about it. Either way, while all of this was happening, Laios and Marcel comes back, and they're like, oh, we've found Falin, because obviously there's like paw prints, like not paw prints, what are those called, like footprints of a bird, and some feathers. So they're like, oh, it must be Falin. But then they're like, Lysa's like, I doubt that's Falin. That's probably a griffin, But Master's like, oh no, this is different. That is definitely Falin. As soon as he says griffin, then she's like, oh no, griffin, and he's like sweating and everything. And then Lysa's like, all right, let's go and see what's going on. And he's like, since she's like, no, I cannot, I cannot go there, And Chilchak is like, wait, you dislike a monster you've never even met? Either way, they have like arguing here, and that is when in comes the griffin. And Marcel is pissed because he's like, what the hell, I thought it was Falin, it's a griffin, really? And she's pissed because of that. Saying she's scared, and he's so scared that he starts running away. And it's like Lysa is immediately like, don't show your back towards it. And that's exactly what he was doing. So the griffin comes and grabs him and goes, like, flies away. And obviously now they're all panicked. They're like, what the hell should we do? Like, it's a very difficult situation. We don't have any type of direction. The griffin can fly, and this place is huge. So how are we supposed to do this? And I was thinking like maybe Marcel has some kind of search magic or something, like that. But Marcel is like, okay, I have a plan. So they're like, she's like, let us summon monsters. Life says you can conjure monsters. It's more accurate to say create than conjure. Okay, so I'm going to read this part. She kind of explains the 3 types of summoning. Let me read this. First, you can dominate and control existing spirits or monsters, but conditions for this are complex, and it might attract the attention of the Lord of the Dungeon, which makes sense because every single monster and creature, like Thistle has an eye on it, so he might realize something is amiss over here. So we cannot do that. Then second, you can alter animals and plants into monsters. But it's not an option either because it takes an immense amount of time and preparation. Also, Thistle might realize, because you're recreating certain things, I guess, maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe he cannot realize. Who knows? Either way, it's not like practical, at least in this situation. Third, you can create them from scratch, and that's what they were going to bet on. It makes sense. If you create something from scratch, I guess Thistle won't be able to realize that, because he might have his control over the existing monsters, but he doesn't have control over something new that someone creates. I doubt he'll be able to understand that. Either way, Marcel is like, if you're creating an autonomous creature, it's more troublesome. But now we need one that is mobile, only mobile. So yeah, only one thing that is like transportation and moving and scouting. That's all we need for it. So Marcel takes out a little bit of her hair, Okay, so she's like, bring all the meat and everything, throw it in the pot. So, like, and like, gather everything. Lias is like, oh, here we go. And Master's like, wait, this is only it? I doubt we can make something out of it. And then Lias brings like some vegetables and other stuff as well. And Master's like, okay, maybe we can add this. It'll probably increase the calorie count and, it'll work out somehow. Lias is like, oh, I wonder what monster you're going to create. Can you teach me? And Master is like, no. Get certified to handle dangerous magic through the proper channel. Okay, so this isn't dark magic. This isn't black magic. It's something else. Like, because otherwise, why would she say that get certified to handle dangerous magic? Like, it's dangerous magic, but it doesn't fall in the forbidden category, I guess. Okay. Elias is like, ah. Okay, so anyways, Izumi brings up, Izumi like, wait, who is that old guy anyway? Like, and everyone's like, oh, that's Senshi. He is, and then they're like, wait, yeah, like, who is he? And they just realize like they've been spending time so long that they've completely forgotten like to ask anything about his past. Like, yeah, we don't really know much about Senshi. Chilchak here brings up the point that like he does make me curious because he said he has been here for 10 years. However, this dungeon is being like found for 6 years, has been discovered only 6 years, which is makes it interesting. And he has like knives and pots. He can read all these dwarven like things, and obviously he's like scared of griffins and all that stuff. And then Chilchak also says, and that he treats me like a kid. Now obviously the final one, it seemed like a little gag in the end, like a little joke sometimes, like anime characters put in. However, it wasn't. Lias, like it's like, oh, the last statement looks a bit nitpicky, at which Chilchak says like, no, that's an important point, because folks who aren't familiar with our race often make the mistake, which makes sense because he kind of looks like a kid. So like unless and until you know that they're half-foots, you won't really be able to think that he's like and then you're going to treat him like a kid. Yeah, so he says they don't get that half-foots are their own race. They think we'll turn into tall men or dwarves when we're grown, which makes sense. Like I said, obviously they're all humans, and when you see someone like a half-foot, you're probably like, oh, that's a kid. He's going to grow up eventually and either become a dwarf or become like the tall man. So he's like, they don't understand that half-foot is an actual race, And he says, but these misconceptions only present in certain places like the East. If he's been on this island for a decade, he should know better. And then he says, maybe he's not from the surface at all. Obviously, like, as he said, he's been there for 10 years and all that. And then, like, Lias is like, okay, after we, like, rescue him, then we'll, reintroduce ourselves. Either way, all that aside, Marcel makes, like, the summoning spell, and she summons those 3 little chicks. And Lias was so excited, and then when he sees them, he's like, the hell is this? They look more like cookies other than monsters. They literally look like little cookies. Oh boy. And Master's like, it doesn't matter. It's fine if it moves. That's all. So Master like lets it fly away, and then Master starts having like nausea because 2 visions are overlapping. So she's like, oh my god, like someone like wrap my eyes, and they blindfold her, and then Master's like, okay, I think I have an idea. So she tries to move forward, but she cannot move because obviously it's like all overlapping and she cannot see. So Lias is like, all right, let me carry you. So he starts carrying her. Obviously, she feels a little bit weird at the beginning, but then Ede gets accustomed to it, and and yeah, okay. So Marcel finally found the dungeon cleaners like going towards like a pillar. So she's like, oh, come on, let's go there. And they find Senshi there. Senshi has been strapped to the pillar, and he's panicking obviously. And the little bird goes and tries to help Senshi out, but obviously we cannot do anything. I love this part where Marcel is just making her lips like pouty, because that's how the bird is also doing. So her actions are overlapping like this. It's funny. And Lias is like, you need to be very careful. Like griffins, they have sharp eyesight and everything. Like before we spot them, they've already spotted us. And as soon as he says that, the griffin comes in and completely destroys the first, bird. Now, here we go. So obviously that must have been a very scary experience, because I guess like Marcel was like kind of like, like all like her actions were kind of similar to that little thing. So that thing getting killed must have been a huge shock for her. It's literally as if you got killed, like that kind of thing. It's like I guess the sensation was more of a dream, where in a dream you're, sometimes in dreams you feel like, oh, you're going to get killed, and suddenly you die in the dream, and then you wake up, in reality. I feel like it must have been that kind of an experience that she went through. Obviously, I doubt it hurt her, or like, but it definitely struck her mentally. Okay, anyways, so Laius is like, we need to make it a little bit more different, like we need to make it a little bit more streamlined, so that it can like dodge and maneuver the griffins, like, yeah. So Laius starts like making like the little dragon kind of thing, and like replicates like a wyvern, and this time the thing starts like moving very smoothly and easily, and okay, so they're like, all right, we will use this thing to like taunt the griffin, and we're going to make sure that it doesn't go towards Sentry, and Sentry can like come down using the rope that we bring him. So like they do that, but in the end, Sentry's midway moving down using the rope. That's when the thing gets killed. And Laius this time is like, okay, like this won't do. I'll have to make something even crazier. Maybe something that like spouts out like flame or something. And he starts making like a genuine dragon using that. But Marcel is like, okay, let me think how to make it. Make it exactly, like very precise in what it is supposed to do. So we need to make it extremely fast. So she starts, like, and when Laius is finally finished making the dragon, she just grabs it and squashes it. And then she's like, okay. So she makes it like an eel, and gives it wings. And she calls them skyfish. And, and there you go. And they start moving fast. And Laius is like, what the hell is this? That's so lame. Marcel is like, it doesn't matter. This is what we need now. So it goes extremely fast, like just zooms past, like the griffin, and it's actually working, and I love how Marcel has to emulate what the thing is doing. So she's literally on the ground like moving like a fish. But anyways, so we are able to deal damage to the griffin's wing. We like completely like just go through it, and the griffin then gets injured, falls down, and that is when Laius comes in and defeats the griffin. So there you go, it's done. And Marcel is like, oh, Skyfish, you will be remembered. And Laius is like, all right, let's go get, grabs it and starts chopping it in pieces. Marcel's like, come on, man, like let me grieve at least a little bit. And obviously, since the Skyfish has been made by like meat and like vegetables, it's already like stuffed with vegetables and meat, And Marcel is like, what the hell, Laius? Why are you like, I was expecting to, like honor it a little bit more, like, like. And Laius is like, oh, this is one way of honoring, you're eating it, like, and you're, that kind of thing, which is kind of like, like interesting, because this is like the, like what Laius says here. Where's that part? I was expecting you to mourn a bit, I wanted some time for that. They've already fulfilled their lives. Consuming their bodies is a way to honor them. Yeah, so this part, like, it's very interesting, because like, like stuff like this always reminds me of another show, which is Golden Kamuy, which has like the, like the Ainus. They have like a similar philosophy, where they are like, yeah, like we are obviously killing animals and taking their stuff. We're cutting wood, cutting trees and taking their stuff, but we only take that amount that we need, and otherwise we worship them, so they're worshipping their like, animals and like the forest and everything. But when they obviously need food and everything, they need to kill them, but that is also their way of honoring them. Their way of honoring them is killing them, like, the animal, taking every single thing that they have and using every single thing that they have, the bones, from the bones to like everything, to the fur, the pelt, make use of everything, do not waste anything, and honoring them like that, because obviously they have to eat to continue living. And even though they worship these, like like animals, when needed they have to kill them and eat them. But the way they can honor them is like not waste anything and use each and everything, and put respect to them and honor them like that. So Laius's like words here are kind of like similar to that. So yeah, like it makes sense. Anyways, enough of that. This just reminded me of that suddenly. Okay, so after that we get to see Senshi, like Chilchak comes to Senshi and he's like, right, like, are you okay? And either way, while Chilchak and Senshi are talking, Laius is cooking the food, and he's like making like a little, like cutting the sky fish, like, and putting them like into in the batter and then deep frying them, all that stuff. And Laius is like, oh, why don't we do like this every single time? Like it looks, it's delicious. However, the good point Marcel brings up is like, so we're literally going to use a week worth of food to make one dish like this. Like, no, that's not what we're going to do. Which is true. I guess this is more of a gourmet food. Like once in twice, it might be okay. Not every day. You'll run out of raw materials like that. Either way, they're eating, and after that, Senshi's like completely like like disheartened. And here's where Chilchak is like, all right, you know what? Let's start the reintroduction. So he's like, my name is Chilchak. Okay, I'm going to read this part because he like okay, I'm from a small village nestled in a basin northeast of here. For about a decade, been doing business around the different dungeons, picking locks, interpreting, mediating, and appraising. Okay, and I guess after that, he probably met Laius and his group. And here we go. Here's where he says, also, I have a wife and daughters. Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting, but it makes sense. He's actually a grown ass man. Like he's like 40 or something. But like this is the interesting thing. Like as he says, like everyone who looks at like Chilchak, they immediately assume that they're like kids and everything. So someone like, even though in their head they know that he's a grown man, like the fact that he is actually a grown man doesn't really register unless and until it's spelled out to them. Like for example here, obviously I knew that he's like 40 or something, but the fact that he might have wife and kids didn't even occur to me because he looks like a kid himself. That kind of thing. So when he like spells it out here, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That kind of thing. So yeah, he's like, I have wife and daughters, but I haven't seen them in years for various reasons. Oh, okay. And Mars is like, wait, what? Because Mars is the one who always treated him like a kid. So, the fact that he himself has kids, Mars is like, what the hell? Mars is like, wait, a wife and daughters? Like, what? Right. Anyways, so they're like, Senshi, now, can you please talk about yourself? Why were you living here? What's going on? And here Senshi starts his tale. And he says, like, my name is Senshi of Izanda. Used to belong to a small mining group. We were miners, but not for ore. As he says, like, we sought relics from before the war, dreaming of hitting the jackpot. Usually that doesn't happen, as they say, majority of discoveries were ore. And sometimes, like finding relics or gears or lenses were a stroke of luck. But that is when something happened. They came across, they unearthed something huge. Like I said, here you can see one guy with that helmet. So I'm pretty sure, like all these people probably they lost their lives in the dungeon, and Senshi is the only survivor. I don't know. Like again, like I said, I've said this before. Like this show completely like throws me off every single time I come across like a theory. I'm like, oh, this is probably how it's going to go. Next episode, it completely like throws me off. So who knows? Maybe something like that might happen. I'm just assuming that this is what happened. Maybe not. We'll see next episode. Either way, so they unearthed something huge, which was the ancient castle gleaming with gold. And this is one thing that we need to remember, like which we kind of forget sometimes now and then, that we see the castle nowadays, it's like a normal castle. But if you remember, they mentioned the castle was golden at the beginning. It was adventurers that came in and started chipping away the gold and just taking with them. I think like Laius and all the others were also part of it, if I remember. They mentioned it. So actually, it was golden, but the adventures like chipped it all out, and like that kind of thing. So that's why it is not golden anymore, I guess. Um, yeah, that it was this very dungeon, and that's where it ended. So yeah, next episode we'll probably get to know more about Senshi and what happened. So yeah, let us see if my prediction actually comes true. Like my theory that I made, that Senshi went in there, they got trapped there, all his friends and their family died, and he got the inherited the helmet. Maybe it was a griffin that killed them. That's why he has PTSD or something, and he has been stuck here for 4 years. And after the fourth year, the fifth year, from the fifth year, they were like this dungeon was discovered, and he probably decided to stay here. That is my theory. Let us see if that comes true in the next episode, because like I said, this show completely like most of the time I think of something is going to go in some direction, it completely goes in the opposite direction, and I'm baffled every single time. So let's see if that happens this time as well. Anyways, that is it. That was my reaction to episode number 22 of Dungeon Meshi. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. That is it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week with another episode of Dungeon Meshi. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.